Now, alright, welcome to Big Bun Game Club. We're gonna talk about toxic poop and how your body generates it. Alright, I'm here with Charles.
No one told me about toxic poop. I
Every
was involved.
every YouTube video always starts with a fucking ad. I've been getting these weird ads on YouTube, and I don't know if anyone else gets them. I either get this guy coming on talking about, like, you may not know this, but the human body generates toxic poop. I'm like, why? Why are we talking about this? And then I get this other one talking about how cardio doesn't work. And it's like, I don't know why these ads are targeting me. It makes no sense.
I was gonna say, Theo, I think targeted ads say more about you than it says about YouTube as a platform.
I think it's YouTube. The ads used to make sense, and now the ads just make less and less sense. It's like, just give me car insurance ads at this point. Enough with this. Anyways, we're not really gonna.
Huh? What? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna move on, but what were we gonna say about
I was just saying I don't get ads on YouTube because I have the premium version, so I don't know what kind of crap they're serving you.
It's crazy. I mean, I have
toxic crap. So
it's something wild. Anyways, so I got some bad news for everyone out here. I gave up on bloodstained. I made it all the way to the Bale fight, and that whole segment just sucked ass. Like, when you got to the big behemoth part of the game, that was just that was like where it started to kind of go down for me. It's like, oh, that whole segment sucked. It was such a pain in the ass to just explore the castle. All of the enemies were just tanks. They just like so much damage. It's like, I don't care. I don't care about this.
Yeah.
And then
it's like it's already tedious to go through the castle, and it's like, okay, let's just make it bigger so it's more tedious to walk through.
Yeah, and it's not even fun. It's not like the idea isn't even like interesting. Like, before that, I liked how goofy and gonzo some of the worlds were. Like the Oriental Lab was kind of like whatever, but this part was just. And it was just such a bummer because you had to slice through all these fake moons to get to it. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a cool-ass fucking world since you're going to, like, the moon or whatever. And it's just, like, they just...
More castle.
Yeah. And then, like, you go to the glacial tombs, and that doesn't even have any inkling of, oh, this is the final world. Or the final area. It's so random.
Yeah, it's like, this is the ice world now.
Yeah.
It's an ice world, so you put it at the end. It's really the end of the game.
Like, it makes...
And it's really... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Like, when you go to Jeeble to slice the moon in that fight, like, that had more of a final fight kind of presence, and just going there, like, it kind of recontextualizes that area a little bit, and it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting. You're going there, and then it's like, oh, right, no, you have to find the moon and go here, and there's just... The game just feels like that this was a part of like, I don't know, it just feels like it's part of something else that wasn't supposed to be where it is.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that, because, like, I felt like the whole slicing the moon thing was really interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been better if you'd, like, gone into, like, a demon world or something.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a bigger castle. It's like, this stinks.
Yeah, like, what I mean is that, like, when you did all the boss fights and you're getting ready to go to Jeeble, it's like, okay, well, you have to go to the cathedral, you have to go to, like, this area you've been to, but, I mean, I guess they didn't change the look of it, but it just kind of had a better presence because it was just a room in the castle that was a final, like, throne room. Right. So, like, that I think is what I meant. It's like that thing.
Really what you're saying is the last part of the game was just copy-pasted from everything else.
Yeah, like
even the glacial tomb was just like the fireplace, except it was white.
Yeah, like, if they just... I guess the other thing is, if the game ended at Jeeble's throne room, it probably would have been a better place to stop. Like...
I agree.
I mean, stop while you're ahead.
Just fight... What was the demon's name? Lucretia? Whatever the fuck?
Oh, Gremory, I think.
Gremory. Just fucking fight Gremory in the throne room, and that should have just been the end of the game.
Yeah, and Gremory was a better boss fight, too, so I was fighting Dominique. Now, you were talking about bullshit story about how this Did it have to do with like Dominique's like whole like plot twist that just kind of happens?
All
Like,
the plot twists at the end. Like, I don't remember the exact lines, but I literally was like, ugh. Like, I wanted to turn off the game when you first get to the last part, and like, Solid Snake Samurai is there, and Alfred's there, and he's like, he wanted me to tell you his last words. He was trying to keep you away from the castle. And she's like, why didn't he tell me? And he's like, would you have believed him? And it's like, probably. Like, I mean, it's more believable than I'm just gonna try to kill you. Like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. It's the
yeah, like,
stupidest thing I've ever seen.
like, and that is like an excuse that every story goes with. Every time it's
Yeah.
like, oh, why didn't you tell me? You wouldn't believe me. It's like,
What the fuck
you
does
don't
that
even
mean?
try. Like, there's not even like an inkling. Like, there are stories where they kind of do that, but they do a better job, kind of giving either an expectation of like it kind of subverts it, where it's like, oh, you're expecting that, oh, this guy might be good after all. Then it's like, well, he was good, but not really. It's like it plays a little bit more with that, but with this, it is a little bullshit with that, and then the whole thing with Dominique is also like I get it, but it's
That's what I'm
also
saying.
silly too.
That's the thing. It's like they just met Dominique. Like,
Yeah.
so why would they like the whole thing was like, oh, you would trust Dominique over Alfred, but why? Like they know who Alfred is.
Well,
They don't know who
well,
Dominique
she's
is.
a nun. She talks to God and she buys stuff. She takes your shards. Now, the other thing that's kind of stupid though about even the Dominique fight, which I thought was a missed opportunity, was the shards that you sell. She should have used those shards in the fight. Like if you sell like, oh, I want to get rid of this shard, and then it's like that's just a move that she has. It's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just do this because you sold it.
That's an interesting concept. And the whole thing where you were like, I wonder if the shards thing is gonna pay off. It never pays off. There's
Yeah,
no reason to sell your shard.
and then like
Because I looked it up because I'm like, okay, maybe there's other endings. There's only 3 endings. And
yeah, I saw the other
it's
one
like,
too. Like,
yeah, the other ending is just you kill him when you kill him with the Zangetsu sword.
yeah, and
And
it's
then
like,
she's like,
oh,
you
you're
can
easy
become
to take
corrupt.
over.
Like, okay. It's just stupid. So it's like there's no payoff to the shards thing. And what you said would be interesting if it was like, okay, you give her shards, she uses them, and then you don't have them, and then you get a better ending based on that.
Yeah, the
But like her whole thing, like it didn't even make sense why she was like, I needed you to summon this demon. Like it doesn't make it. They don't tie any of it together.
it,
She's like,
it's
I'm using you to summon this demon. It's like, how did that even work?
it's so loosely, well, it's so loosely connected because they all like um based it on the Libra Legaev because they wanted them to go after that book to get from Alfred to give it to
Yeah,
her, and then that's how she would summon Bale. That's why she like at the end she has the book when you meet her. So she's like, and
yeah.
like during that fight, she's like, "All right, Bale, come and help me," and then it's like right there. Even though,
But
huh?
what did what's her face have to do with any of it? Miriam. What did Miriam have to do with it?
To to kill Alfred and to kill Jeeble to like for her to get the book because Alfred was going for the book. Like
But Alfred could have been like, hey, this bitch is trying to fucking kill us. And that would have been the end of the whole game.
The other thing that was a little silly about the book was I think Jabal had it and Gremory was in leagues with Dominique. So like I'm like now that I'm thinking about it even more now, like it didn't hit me when I was playing it, but now I'm thinking about it. If Gremory and Dominique were in cahoots with each other, and Jabal had the book, what? Why was Jabal and not involved with any of this? Like,
Exactly.
and they just tie it loosely. Like, well, I tried to get you to kill Zangetsu and Alfred. It's like, but you had the book. You could get Bale and Bale, and they kept building Bale up. Like, oh, Bale's a badass. He's such a big demon, and even that fight, I didn't even get what the fuck Bale is supposed to be. I had to look at. I went to the wiki just to see what Bale was. It's like, oh, it's a 3-headed snake thing. It's like
Bale is a fucking Firefox logo.
yeah, and it's like he has like no character. It's just a dude, and he's like, all right, I'm here. And it's like that's it. Like Dominique has more of a like presence, and it's like this should have just been the final boss at this point.
Yeah, and it's so funny how they try to set up that like, oh, like this is your mirror. Like Miriam and Dominique are equals, and it's like that was not set up at all.
Yeah, and
I didn't know he was like a fighting badass.
I didn't even get that vibe that this is like a mirror fight. Like I was playing this other game, Transistor, which is an indie game, but it's a great game. That ends with a mirror fight, pretty much. Like this other dude you come across has the same abilities that you have, and has the same gameplay mechanics you have, and all works the same. And that's like a much more interesting fight because it's like he can also slow down time because the combat of Transistor, you slow down time when you plan out your move, and then the character kind of does what you tell it to do. It's a weird hybrid of turn-based and real-time action. And it's unique, and the other guy can do the same things. So it's like a little bit more like, okay, can you outmaneuver him from what you've learned, or is he gonna outmaneuver you? That feels more like on par. This fight, alright, she just throws projectiles out. It's like there's no difference between her and Grummery. Pretty much. Yeah. And Grummery was just a better fight on top of that.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I actually don't even remember it because I remember it just being too easy.
Like, it is easy, but that's probably it's better.
Yeah, my biggest problem is fucking how easy the game is. It's not easy, but simple. It's simple and not in a good way.
Yeah, like so the reason why I stopped playing this game and I got
the end, Theo.
Yeah,
really
but the boss fight was so demotivating because I would have like 5 healing items. Like the first time I had no healing, I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just get healing and come back and just do my best. I made some food too, whatever. But even the food was limited. I could make half the food I wanted. But I go to that fight. I just get past Dominique after like multiple attempts, even with all this healing. And it took like all my healing to get to the Bale fight. And the Bale fight is it's the most boring fucking fight. It's just them going in a circle. And you have to either avoid the head when you're like on the side, because that's also a hitbox. And then you have to like hit... and it's just like there's all this shit going on at the same time. It's just there's nothing like challenging or satisfying about it. Like the Dominique fight is just more satisfying by comparison.
Did you ever try inverting the castle when you were fighting Bale? That's a good trick.
I think I might have. I don't remember.
It's a good trick to avoid some of his attacks. He just can't even get you. Like for instance, and that's a good trick for some bosses because like that poker chip one. If you invert and you have the like...
Oh yeah.
He can't even hit you.
Yeah, I did that too when I was against a poker guy. I did the same. So I was like, they did not really design this at all. Like they didn't think about this.
They did it on purpose though.
I guess I don't know because it's hard to tell if it's on purpose or it's like he just didn't think about it. I don't know. I mean, it's whatever to me. That fight was whatever. It had the weirdest presence that poker fight thing. It's like it felt like a boss fight, but it wasn't at the same time because there was no room, there was no challenge. So it didn't feel like it was a boss fight. It's just like
Here's what I think happened with that. I think they designed that. They had nowhere to put it, and they're like, "This is too cool to waste, so let's just throw it in here right now."
Yeah,
because it's kind of a cool design, like interesting concept, but like they just had they were just like fucking throw a poker chip guy in there.
Yeah, but like I was trying to, so I would get killed by Bale, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I was thinking at that point, maybe that's like a checkpoint, and it's like no, you start from the Dominique fight. And I was like, I'll just go back another day. And I took like 3 days of trying to fight this boss, but the one attempt that just said I was like fuck this, I'm done. She does this she summons those 3 like ball enemies, that like the blue fire. I can't remember their name, but like if they hit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you can't hit them.
Yeah, which is kind of bullshit, but they're easy to avoid. So I tried to avoid them, and then she summoned the fire. Those things pinballed me into the fire, and then I died. I was like, okay, I'm done with fuck this. Like, it pissed me off so fucking much because I wanted to jump, and it's just. And I swear, I think the PS4 version had to have dropped inputs. Because there are moments where I'm.
Did you try the input lag?
I forgot to fucking look at that.
I think you should try one more time.
All right. I'll try. I at least saved the save file so I can try again. So I'll try again. But it's just I left that fight thinking I don't even know if it's even worth it to me because usually like with boss fights I don't mind if it's challenging. If I die multiple times I don't mind it. It's as long as like I can get past it or it's like a fun challenge. The Dominique fight itself is like decent. It's like okay, like I can kind of stomach it, but the Bale fight is just I don't. Even if I could get past Dominique easy, if I get even to the Bale fight, it's just I kind of just clocked out at that point. And even in that game, once I got to that when everything was big, it's like I that's just when I just stopped caring. It's like I just want to beat this at this point. Like I was gunning through areas. You talk about that ninja that you race with, and he gives you an item. And I tried it, and it was like, this race obstacle just is dull. I don't give a shit anymore. Just get it over with. And like that's like the problem with that game. Is like once you get there, it's just.
I think the thing about this game is that you just need. To me, it's all as an exercise in tedium, and it's like you just need to have patience. Like it's not like fun to pull out. You're not like, wow, look at that thing I pulled off. It's like, okay, I waited till it was safe to attack, and then I attacked. And that's the whole game.
Yeah.
So it's like, like if you just take twice the amount of time, you'll beat that fight. But it's not going to be fun. It's gonna be like, oh, I just waited till it was safe.
Yeah, it's.
Like, you don't pull off any cool like dodges. It's just like I jumped over her while she attacked the other way, and I smacked her.
Yeah, like
Cool.
her patterns weren't even that like tricky to figure out. Like I was able to get. I watched a YouTube video on how to fight her, so I could just breeze through her. And the video was like, oh, just do an empty jump when you start, do a crouch, and just attack her just endlessly. And then, like, once he does the crouch attack, then you just jump. And it's like, after that, it's like, this fight is the most, it's so trivial. It's like, oh, just crouch and just keep attacking. Like,
but it's like, you have to just endure. That's what most of the game is to me.
Yeah. Like I just beat that boss in Persona 4, that baby boss in that video game dungeon, and
I gotta play again.
Yeah, time to catch up. That fight, like I still hate that fucking fight. It's like every time I've been streaming Persona, just in general, there's always a fight that gets me mad, and then it's like at the end, it's like. You know, that fight's still kind of fun, whatever. I don't have something positive to say. I have nothing fucking positive to say other than, like, I beat it, and because it was just such bullshit. This fucking baby would hammer Kanji with his weakness, then do Megiadolan, which is just annihilates my party. So every time I see him do Magaru, it's like, oh god, don't do Megiadolan. And I just beat it by luck, but it's like, I could just retry that fight over and over a little bit more. I had more motivation to do that fight than to beat the final boss of Bloodstained, because at least with that, I figured I've played Persona so many times that I could see myself eventually finding some way to get past it, be it by grinding or just finding a tactic that I could just use, because if you block, you don't get your weakness to it. So if I had Kanji block one turn and he did Magaru, he wouldn't be knocked down. So it's like, if I just do that, that'll be fine. I'll just have less damage input, but it'll be better than just getting, like, knocked out if she ever did Megiadolan. But this, it's like, I don't give a fucking shit about Bale. Like, and then I watched the ending cutscene, and it's like, I'm fucking happy I didn't beat it. The ending is such a fucking waste of time. It's like, what is the point?
It's just as bad as the ending that you get for, like, the ending that you get for just killing what's-his-face.
Oh, Jibble? Yeah.
Is more interesting.
Yeah. Because it at least has like a sinister like twist. It's like every game I have played, I've always favored the bad ending. Like BioShock's bad ending is like the better ending as far as I'm concerned. Like the good ending is like, oh, wow, he dies with all his little sisters. Yippee, I don't give a fuck. The bad ending, alright, you send a missile to the surface and they're all were set loose and they're gonna fuck shit up. It's like, hell yeah, fucking you at least, like, hell on earth. It's like, that is much more interesting. And then this, it's like, alright, you beat her. Okay, I'm gonna read a book. Alright, it's gone. We also found a cure for the shards. It's like, I would have liked it if it ended with them, like, not finding a cure, and it's like, yeah, you could become the next bad guy in the next Bloodstained game. It's like, oh, that'd be way better. Like, Bloodstained Ritual of the Day, and it's like, Miriam's the bad guy. It's like, that's, like, something cool that they could have done for a sequel. It's like, no, we can't have her go bad.
Or the ending should have been, like, them, like the reaction of, like, the townspeople would be like, by the way, we killed a nun. She was trying to murder us all. And they're like, then they'd be like, what? Excuse me? Like, that's more interesting to me.
Yeah.
None of that stuff made any sense anyway. I don't think the story was just dumb.
And I feel like they inadvertently made Dominique a likable character because I sympathized with her whole point of like, you know, God just fucked us up. I mean, God did nothing. Where is he with all these demons running around? He's doing nothing. Fuck him. I'm just gonna get all this power. I'll like team up with Bale, whatever, and just go from there. It's like, yeah, like
I mean, getting a world-destroying demon isn't really the smartest way to go about that.
It's dumb, but it's like, but I think it was to the point where she just wanted to kill God, so that's why she wanted to go with Bale. It's like she just lost faith in humanity too, because she was like, yeah, these people are fucking idiots for going with God. That just didn't give a shit about them, so these people can die too. Fuck them. So she just kind of just didn't. She stopped caring completely about everything. Yeah. Like, so it's like, I guess it does kind of make sense why she would want to destroy the world as well. It's like, these people don't deserve to be saved. Fuck them, and fuck God. It's like, all right, that's like a little bit more interesting. I mean, I think it's shallow overall, but it's something more interesting than fucking what we got by the end.
You know what would have made it more interesting? If that was the story, like, a quarter of the way through the game.
Yeah.
Not to just drop it on us at the end.
Like, it should have ended with Jebel at least saying, like, hey, I kept this book safe because I knew someone you know is a bad guy or something. Like,
or even if Gremory was a good guy.
Yeah.
And you kill... That would have been more interesting. You kill Gremory, and she was the one that was doing the Alfred thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like... It just would have been
this demon is more powerful than me.
Yeah, like...
And she thought, like... And that would make more sense because Gremory would not know... You would not have any reason to trust her.
Yeah.
So,
that's...
She was a good demon, and she was using Jebel to protect the Ligger Logbith or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
All of you were going after it. She thought you were in cahoots with Dominique, and then Dominique was like, haha, motherfuckers. I got the Ligger Logbith or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and you know, I was thinking the whole time that Johannes was the bad guy. I think I said on the first 2 episodes, like, yeah, this guy I could see him going bad, and then he never turns bad, and it's like they did it to Dominique instead of him. It's like Johannes I feel Johannes probably would have more of a reason to turn evil than because he was already against Alfred. He was already like, yeah, fuck Alfred. Like he talks more to Miriam than fucking... he starts off in the boat with her. It's like... He had all this, build up.
If they kept the story as it is, it should have been Johannes.
Yeah, it made more sense with him than Dominique. And then, like, they had the little girl take the shards as well. And it's like, if the shards are so bad, why is she doing it? And then, like, at the end, like, Dominique just blatantly says, yeah, I had it. Why would... Think about it, Miriam. Why would I have you sell shards to me, dumbass? It's like... And he taught this little girl to do it too, so is she gonna be like another plot twist where like I was evil the whole time. I'm the...
Here's another thing that makes it make no sense. I didn't sell her a single shard.
Oh my god.
I never sold any of them. So
I only sold her shards just out of desperation for money. I had all these shards. I was like, I'm not gonna use half this shit. Half this shit is just junk. So yeah, just sell these. But so I guess to a degree, I answered my own question why she wouldn't use the shards you sell her, because then if someone knew that, they would just tell people, yeah, just give her trash shards and it'll be an easy fight. But it's like, it's already a bullshit fight anyway. Like that fight is a joke.
But they can make that make sense by you get a better ending if you have less,
Yeah, like
Like, it's
they
just
could have
all
made some
stupid.
way. Yeah.
I think the story should have been what I said. It should have been Gremory was protecting the book, and she thought all of you were bad, and then Dominique double crosses you at the end. That would have
Yeah.
made way more sense.
Yeah, because like a lot of like even Devil May Cry tries to do this where all these demons side with the bigger demon, and it's like okay, I guess like the most dominant thing demon is the best demon for them. Whatever. I mean, dominance,
Right.
whatever. But at the same time, demons are also like greedy, selfish, and like evil creatures in their own way. So why the fuck would they be like collaborative with each other half the time? Like it is.
Right.
There's no motivation for half these demons to work with Bale. Like what? And I also just think that they should have characterized Bale a little bit more than just he's a demon and he's powerful and that's it.
He's a giant three-headed animal. Cool,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you.
Like, there's more interesting villains in Persona with like Nyx, the fucking final boss of Persona 5, like that's at least a little more of a character that you kind of see and you kind of feel the impact of, but
I don't know. I haven't played it.
yeah.
Want to know how I beat the last boss?
How?
I never jumped really. Well, I jumped in Bale, but I didn't really jump for Dominique because I got the ninja run technique,
Oh.
and that allows you. You hurt people by running into them. So literally, I would see her start to attack. I would ninja run through her, turn around, and then just attack her.
Oh my god, that
And I would use welcome company, so I had portraits around me. So I'm just running through her, hitting her with portraits, and I just kicked her ass. And then basically the same thing with Bale. So I was just like jumping around, ninja running, dashing, flipping the castle over. So
Yeah, I think my issue with Bloodstained overall is just by the time I got to that last leg of the game, I just stopped caring about everything else in that game. Like with like Yakuza 4 was another game I dropped because I just couldn't beat the final boss because my main character, the last character of that gauntlet, was underleveled. He had no healing items, and they throw infinite enemies with guns, and the guns in Yakuza 4 and all the enemies also block. So, like Yakuza 4 it's notorious for this issue of like the enemies will just block like crazy and you can't break it. So you have to like wait until they just open up and just poke them every little chance. So it's impossible to even do that in this fight because they just swarm you. The main guy you're chasing is running around. All these guys have guns. So it just stops you in your tracks, and after that, it's like I don't care. Fuck this. And because if you die in that fight, you have to go from the beginning again, from the whole gauntlet. So you have to fight 3 other bosses before you get to that, and it's like there's no point. And it's just
does it
not
make
even
me want to
fun.
play? Does it make me want to play Yakuza 4 just to see what you're talking about? But like, I played 0 and 1 and 2 Kiwami,
Yeah, those are way
and like,
better.
I didn't like 1 and 2. I really loved 0, but then
I
1 and 2,
I didn't.
especially 2. 2, the combat system was all fucked up. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I didn't love to.
But everyone
Two's
says it's
kind
the
of the
best
weakest
one.
one. I don't know
I think it just
why.
like everything people like
Yeah, like
because
I mean, 2 just had a very boring story. It just kind of felt like
it
Kiryu
was
was just
tough.
kind of there. Yeah, it's like I liked the that Korean girl. I can't remember her name. She was kind of cool, and I liked her whole
With the
arc.
cop.
Yeah, she was kind of
Yeah.
cool. I liked her, but other than that, it's like I would the whole game was me like I want to play as her. I don't want to play as Kiryu. Like, what's Kiryu doing here? And they had this cool other villain in 2 that's like, oh, he's like you, but he's like the bad guy. It's like, oh, okay. But there's no weight between them at all. There's nothing going on. The whole game is just Kiryu just walking around just like, hey, this guy said that. This happened, okay? And it's like,
Okay. The thing about Yakuza that's just so dumb is like Kiryu is like has this strong sense of justice, doesn't kill anyone, except when he does kill people, like every once in a while. And like he never like does any Yakuza shit. He doesn't rob anyone. He doesn't do anything. He just has a really strong sense of justice and beats the shit out of people. He's like Batman, basically. And it's
yeah.
like in this story, it makes his involvement makes zero sense. Like except for the fact that they're trying to kill all these like other mobsters, like his like personal
There's
thing
no like
against
personal
the other guy
angle.
makes no sense.
Yeah. It the whole thing is just kind of it's a weak story, and I don't get how like I don't get it. Like 3 is also pretty bad too. Like it's not super bad, but it's kind of like boring. It's just it's kind of like I think the if I remember correctly, I think the whole story is just about real estate shit. It's like, oh, okay, like whatever. 6 is a little bit better because that at least kind of closes his arc. 7 I think is better, but I think overall with the Yakuza, everyone does. I don't think. I feel like some people talk about it, but Yakuza kind of glorifies the Yakuza, and it's like these are like all criminals in Japan. They're not
Does
like
it though? Does it?
all the Yakuza. Every Yakuza in that game, like that are not the bad guys, are like, yeah, we don't hurt people. Yeah, we're not gonna fucking extort these people. That's
Yeah,
fucked up. And it's like,
yeah, it makes no sense. You don't rise to the top of a criminal organization without being a criminal. It
yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
like
It's just they need their protagonists to be good guys.
yeah, like
So
that's why like Judgment is a better game.
make him a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Just make him a dirtbag. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, at least like Grand Theft Auto kind of like commits to that.
Or make him a cop. Like I don't understand.
Yeah. Uh, or I mean, that's like the other thing. I think I don't know which Yakuza game it is, but he eventually like walks out of being the Yakuza, so he just becomes some guy. So that's at least a little bit better what they did with him. Like in 6, he's not even Yakuza at all anymore. So he has like no like he just wants to be a dad at this point.
They kind of do that in 1.
Oh, maybe it is 1. He's like, I don't want to be the chairman anymore. It's like, all right, and then he just kind
He
of
comes out of prison. Okay, I'm trying to think. He comes out of prison, and then Nietzsche is like, I'm a piece of shit now. Like he's trying to assassinate everyone to rise to the top of the ranks, and he beats the shit out of Nietzsche, kills him by accident or whatever, and then he's like, I'm done with this shit, and that's how the whole game goes.
okay.
Which I guess that kind of makes sense because in 2, then he's just like not really in the Yakuza, but
Yeah, he's an outsider
like,
the whole time. Yeah,
I guess that makes sense. He's always an outsider.
yeah,
But in 0, it doesn't really
yeah. Zero is a weird game. That one I need to replay because I played it and then I dropped it for the longest time, and then I went back to it and I kind of forgot half the story. So it's like, oh, okay, like
what happens in 0 is he gets framed for murdering. Okay, he gets framed for murdering some guy. Like he roughs up some guy to collect the debt from him. Someone kills him with a gun. Everyone thinks Kiru did it. And then for some reason that gets him banished from the Yakuza. So the whole power struggle is that there's where the Millennium Tower is, in the middle of Kamurocho, whatever.
yeah.
That place isn't there. It's an empty lot in that game.
So, oh yeah, okay.
Someone's trying to pin the murder on the what's the name of their family?
Tojo clan?
family?
Yeah, Tojo.
Tojo. Someone's trying to frame this on the Tojo clan. So they try to frame Kiru. And he gets banished because of that. It ends up being some fucking power struggle between the people who are trying to become the head of the family.
Okay.
And then he teams up with this Chinese guy, Tachibana.
I remember the Chinese guy and that. I remember bits and pieces. But I think the only thing that I just don't know, I don't remember is how Majima and like Kiryu's story kind of like link.
It doesn't.
Oh, I thought it does, and I was like, oh, it links somewhere, but it doesn't.
And that was the part that bugged me because I knew like they don't look like they're like when you see promotion materials for like that was the first Yakuza game we played.
Yeah.
So you see promotion materials, they have their looks like Majima has that like snake skin or whatever jacket and the eye patch and the weird haircut.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Kiru has the white suit, right?
Yeah.
In that game, they have different looks where they wear just different stuff. Like
yeah, it's like the opposite.
Game, they're tangibly related because Majima's story is he's banished to be. He's also banished because something with his brother had to do a hit.
Oh, okay. That I do know. I do know that story about.
That ties back to Yakuza 3 or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Majima's brother.
I think it's Yakuza 4. They taught. Yeah, that's when they introduced it. Yeah.
But like he finds out his brother, he's like he has to like work off a debt. So he has to live in whatever place, Sotenbori or whatever, and run a host club or hostess club. And like he's like the enforcer there. He meets who is Tachibana's sister.
Yeah.
and has to he tries to take care of her because for some reason she's the key to something. So he saves her from the Yakuza, and then he's like, I'm gonna be exactly who I want to be, and then he rejoins, and he's much more subdued. He goes nuts in this game after he meets this guy that he beats up.
Yeah,
that guy gets murdered.
I just remember the whole reason why Majima gets nuts in this game. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's not. It's it's like you just decide I'm just gonna be crazy, and there's no real reason. It's just fuck it, I just want to be crazy. It's okay, because the story, it was just so straightforward. It's yeah, there's nothing really in this story where it's all this fucked up shit happened to Majima that made him crazy. It's no, I'm gonna go crazy. It's okay, I guess it's just he just wants to live his life as if it's his last or whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah, he says something like that in the end of Yakuza 0. But their stories never intersect. It just all the stuff happens, and then the next thing you know, they're in their typical looks. And then they and then he's like Kiru-chan, and that's the end of the game. Seriously, that's how it ends.
You know it's kind of funny when this was on the PS2, they dubbed it, and this is I think they only dubbed Yakuza 1. I think after that they never really released any anymore. But they had Mark Hamill be Majima, and it's oh, that's the perfect dub. So they dubbed Yakuza 7, and they have do you care? Do you mind for spoilers for Yakuza Like a Dragon? Or
no, I don't care.
So they have Majima in this game, and I'm thinking, oh, it would be great if they just put Mark Hamill as the character again, just as a callback to the PS2 era, and it's just Troy Baker, and it's okay, whatever.
Of course it's Troy Baker.
Yeah, why not? But
he's the only man in video game voice acting.
The dub for Kiryu is so fucking weird. You hear it, and it's it takes a while to get to this to have it grow on you, but it is the weirdest voice. I can't get used to it.
For 7 or 1?
7. 1, I don't know I don't know what the voice they use. I didn't hear that. No one talks about it because I guess the dub is just really bad. And also with Mark Hamill, you ask it. I think someone asked him oh, do you know who Majima is? And he's I don't know what that is. He doesn't even remember doing the character.
He's done hundreds of voices.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's also I think it's just the era where people were just doing these as his jobs, just either get paid or just as a favor or whatever. But it's just that's something that's just kind of funny that people bring up, oh yeah, he remembers half this of his career, but he doesn't remember that. But
yeah, I think what's really strange, because there's something you can talk about translation, but there's a lot to be said about localization. And I always it's really weird I don't know if they do it in Persona 5, but in Persona 4, and I've watched the videos of Yakuza 1, and I really think it's strange when they use Japanese honorifics in
yeah, senpai, and
it no one fucking says that shit. It's they have to localize it so it implies it in a different way than using an honorific to say what your relationship is with someone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
America.
It's kind of funny because I think I can't remember if it was Yakuza. I think it's Yakuza. Yakuza literally calls it out because a character's oh, hello, senpai, and they're what? They're what the fuck? What? Why do you say that? I mean, it's some video game kind of calls it out, and it's it makes a point saying how it's really weird how localizations go out of their way to do this. But I do remember also with Ava, they had multiple localizations and translations and all this stuff, and they were talking when they put on Netflix, since they redid the translation for it, and they're saying there's all this kinds of different approach where they either try to go for literal or they try to get as close as possible, or they just kind of do their own take. And they said I think for the Netflix one they try to be as close to the original translation as possible that they could get, and it takes some light liberties, but they tried to stay close because they wanted to keep it original. Because usually if you just kind of go off that and just kind of do their own interpretation of it completely, you might miss the core. of what's being written. So it's this weird thing, but I also think it's just kind of dumb to like I get why they want to go with senpai and all this stuff, but I think it's also to kind of like, oh, the anime fans will love this. They'll love hearing senpai and this and that. It's like no one really cares. Like it's just
it doesn't come off as natural.
yeah.
Like you cannot directly translate that. It's like in it like US, like to localize that, you have to like it's just a subtle way of speaking. Like you would speak to someone that you're have that like relationship with, you would use different words. Like it's called code switching, you know? Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't talk as casual with them. You don't
Yeah.
address them with a title. You might call them sir or ma'am or something like that. But
Yeah.
we don't have fucking I don't call you Theo Chan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it's just weird. And the in Persona 5 was kind of funny is one of the characters is a I think she's like an immigrant because she speaks English like naturally. She's not a Japanese she wasn't born in Japan. She has blonde hair and all this stuff. So she like speaks perfect English and everyone's like, "Oh, your Japanese is really good." It's like it's not really necessarily fair because the whole game is dubbed that I'm playing it, so it's not necessarily fair for me to be sit there. But it's just
Okay.
I guess it's just internally for me is like listening to this and it's weird, but I guess it's at the same time it's like also why people go with subs when it comes to like anime and shit. But it's like
So that's the thing. Like, if you watch The Great Pretender on Netflix, that's an anime.
yeah,
They do a thing where it's like they're speaking Japanese, but they're not speaking Japanese. Okay, and that's it. Like
yeah,
like it switches to English. So there's a sub, right? I mean, there's a dub,
yeah.
but like they speak Japanese in part of it, and then they're like, all right, they literally just say, hey, they're speaking Japanese still, but you're gonna hear it in English. So it's like you kind of have to have that suspension of disbelief. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm just hearing this, but they are speaking Japanese.
yeah.
So, and like, have you seen the show? It's on Showtime, I think, called Warrior. It's
No.
about like it's set in like the 1800s, and it's like follows these Chinese immigrants. I think they're Chinese immigrants. It's like Chinatown in um San Francisco, and like there's this one dude that's like he's like a martial artist, and then like he got sold to some gang, so like he's in this gang now, and like when there's like American, like there's white people in the scene, like they switch to talking with accents, right? And then like speaking Chinese between each other, and then like they'll do this thing where it's like the camera shifts and like they'll show like this like I don't know like aura around everything, and it's like that communicates to you that like they're still speaking Chinese, but you're hearing it in English, so they don't have to subtitle everything. So it's kind of
Okay.
like the same thing.
There's a so Samurai Champloo did something semi-similar, but you don't get it in the dub. But if you watch it like in Japanese, there's an episode where they do baseball. They play baseball with the Americans. These Americans just come over and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna take over, whatever." They get all these Japanese voice actors to just mock English. So it's like, "Oh, just speak English," and it's because I think like one of my friends was telling me about it. He's like, "Yeah, you should watch this in Japanese, and you'll just have a blast listening to it." But it's like they just had them just pretend that they're English speakers, and like, oh, we play baseball, and we're gonna like beat you. It's like, oh, okay, like
I can't wait to watch that. I gotta check that clip out.
yeah. But I mean that was like years ago, and I think part of me doesn't even know if he was like just messing with me either. So it's I don't know. Like my friend's brother. I meant was telling me that, and he just told me all this nonsense in the past as well. So he could be pulling my leg at this point. But I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I could see it because it is like because the way they draw these Americans that come over is so like ridiculous. They're in like the cartoon like sailor outfits that you this picture sailors wearing is like they just have them wearing that, and they just like they're like obese, stupid looking, and like, oh yeah, we're gonna beat you in baseball. It's like, oh okay, like oh, but I was
I don't know. this I don't know why I thought of this. It's completely unrelated, but there's this funny video. It's like 30 seconds on YouTube, and I think it's a real thing. And it's literally this called "The Worst Black Guy in All Anime."
I think I've seen this video.
I don't know what show it's from, but like the guy's like he's like supposed to be like a fish out of water guy, and he's clearly speaks Japanese or whatever, and he bumps into this black guy, and the guy is just like it's completely passionless voice acting, and the guy's like, "Hey, what's your problem? You running into me?" And he like picks him up and like throws him through a window. He's like, "This'll teach you," and he just like throws him, and it's like completely like just like it's just some guy like literally reading a script, just like, okay, like. You're trying to. What do you think? You're a tough guy? It's so fucking funny. But like, I don't even know if it's real. I wonder if it's real or not.
That's because there's another anime that I can't remember the name of it, because it's so weird because the way that they done it is so like ridiculous because it's kind of like it's like you've seen like Team 4-Star with like their Dragon Ball edits where it's like they just dub over what's animated already. And it's like not accurate at all what's going on. It's like they do that with the show and it's like and everyone's like, this is the weirdest fucking thing to be like released. And it's like an official release of this product. And they just dubbed over it like it's like they animated this story and then they just dub over it like it's like a like they're just like going along with what's anime and they're just making it up as it goes. It's so weird.
It's like improvised.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I think it has Ghost in the name, but I don't remember the actual name of it. It is so it's so fucking weird.
It's kind of like what they did with Shin-Chan, I think.
Yeah, kind of.
Like the American dub of it is just like they're just fucking around. It has nothing to do with the actual story.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's just odd. And because I've learned this through like a YouTube video, and I was like, what? So I can't remember.
All right, before we keep digressing, final thoughts on Bloodstained. Let's hear like your impressions, pros, cons, and like final score. What do you think?
All right, we can do that. We can do that. My impressions of it, it kind of like lived up to what I said in the first episode, where it does a decent job, at least like the for the majority of the game. It kind of gives you the impression that you can kind of go wherever you want. There's breakable walls. There's all this stuff you can explore. But there is a line that it does want you to go through. There is something there, like if you're lost, you can at least find some idea where to go. Except for like the train station is cryptic. The slicing the moon when you're like fighting Jeeble, like that was also cryptic. Like I wouldn't even think about slicing the moon in that fight. But I do like that you could kind of go out of sequence as well and fight Jeeble early if you get there. But the pros is just that it has a lot of good stuff that's in the structure of it. Like there's a good blueprint there that if they just took what they've learned from this game and listened to some of the feedback that people have, they can make it a better game. The cons of it is just that the cryptic stuff isn't even like reasonably cryptic. It just seems that it's just cryptic for the sake of it, and there's really no inkling of like there's no design in the wall that you can think about like, oh, maybe this is breakable. Like there's nothing there that clues you in on what you're supposed to be doing. The combat is too simple. Like there's like some of the abilities that you get from shards, I just feel like these are abilities that you should just have innately. Like you shouldn't have to have a shard to do half the things that it wants you to do. And then relegating like going through traps to a plate of armor is this kind of lame too, because you'll find better armor, and it's like, why would I want to go back to this one? Even though I think I found out you could just kind of change armor anyway, you just get that ability, but it's just, that is also not very conveyed either in the game. Like, you wouldn't think, oh, I just get this ability and I keep it. It's like, no, you just have to experiment. But it's just, the experimenting, the crafting is not fun. I still don't understand how to get more Ekahest points or whatever the fuck. Like, what the fuck? I wasted all of it. It's like, okay, so I need to make more armor. Oh, I need 10. but I have the equipment. Yeah, but you don't have enough ACAS. Like, okay, so I bought it from the store. That does nothing. I've tried using it. It tells me I can't use it, and it's like this is not the crafting is just not even like interesting. There's nothing in that system that is like worthwhile, and half the stuff you craft is trash. Half the time, but but then when you get to the fucking upside, the big world and the glacial tomb is kind of where I stopped caring about even exploring the rest of the castle. I just wanted to just get done with it, and then the final boss was just kind of like the final nail in that coffin. It's like I don't even have any inkling to even because like I was watching other people play, and it's like, oh, they have a sword that does 200 damage, and they have all this good equipment, and it's like I'm sure I have to like look around, and it's like I don't care. It's just the enemies are not fun to go through. Like the Oriental Lab was kind of the lab that gave me some red flags of like they're just gonna be throwing enemies out at you, and it's just gonna be a pain in the ass. I don't need to be going through that anymore. I just want to beat it at this point. Like I should be able to get the stuff I need to beat the boss my own way. It kind of just takes the choice out of your hands by the end of the game as well. Like, it just expects you to either just find a method or just wail on her. There's nothing really clever about half the fights. So, I would give it on a scale of 5, and we can combine them at once I hear your score. But mine would be like I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5. I think it's kind of average, but it's like and it has a lot of charm. There is charm in the game. Like it's not like a soulless game that's like we have to get this out. We have to put it out. Fuck it. It's at least there is some kind of like charm and love to it. Like the fact that there's like chair enemies, cat demons. Like I do love how it kind of goes outside the box with a lot of their enemies. They could have gone a little bit more with it than just than palette swaps, but I do like that. It's a little less traditional, if except for the boss fights. The boss fights could have been a little bit more in that vein of like thought. It seemed like they put more effort in the smaller enemies than the boss enemies, in some cases. So I would give it a 3.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up some interesting points that I was thinking of too, because this week I watched videos of like people's like impressions of it and people like who invested in the Kickstarter who were because I was like I'm trying to understand why this reception is so overwhelmingly positive. And like it sounds like everyone that was into this thing just valued the atmosphere of it. Like because when the Kickstarter happened, they put out a beta and everyone was like, this game looks like shit. And everyone was complaining about the look of it. And it seems like what they had probably invested in was making the visual design better. And I think that's what people care about more because I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
And what I saw when I saw a lot of people playing like gameplay footage, their weapons were doing like 200. I was like, how is their weapon doing so much damage? Like, and maybe I just went through the entire game under leveled.
Yeah.
Because like
I was thinking that
this
too.
shit takes so long, and then like I only got through like a third of maybe not even a third. I probably made 5 recipes the entire game because I couldn't make anything else. I didn't have any of the ingredients, and then like crafting weapons. Every weapon that I wanted, I would just find it. So I was like, fuck it. I don't need to craft these weapons, but they're more powerful ones. So maybe like these people just grind to get drops and then do all this crafting stuff. And maybe the game would be a lot less tedious had I made that effort, but it's like grinding is tedious. So I don't want to fucking do that either.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just beat the game under leveled.
And but the thing is, as I said, like with the for like just once I got to like the glacial tomb, I it's just like I don't even because it's like I don't want to go back and just hit all these enemies and just farm points or farm XP and all this stuff. Like I mean, even like with Persona, it's like that's a grinding game, but I at least get something out of it. Like it's a little bit because you get to fuse better personas, you get to get better XP, get better moves. There's more of an incentive to grind in that game than I found myself doing here. And well, you know, and I think the other reason why a lot of people like this game is they after that beta and they reworked the game visually and all this stuff. Like they like that whole trailer was celebrating like, look, we listened to you and we did all this stuff based on your comments. And
Yeah.
like that is kind of unheard of a developer kind of like blatantly saying like, look, this is what you said and this is what we did.
Right.
And it's also kind of like a darling story of a Kickstarter because I don't think it was it like they opened that page and I think immediately it hit the goal. It was like so fast, like it was, and there was a video of like the developer like looking at the website and he was like in tears with how happy he was that everyone like supported it. So it's kind of like a charming underdog story, but it just when you like kind of step back from all of that, all that kind of stuff, it's like yeah, the game is like it's not bad, but like if this was any other game that came out, people would probably be like, yeah, it's good, it's there, but they
It's
wouldn't be
fine.
like, yeah, they're not gonna be like bring out the trumpets and like doing a parade for it.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you that probably all muddies it up, and it's like something that everyone consistently said. The gameplay didn't change from the beta to the final release,
Yeah,
so they didn't refine the gameplay. So that's my thing. Is like I agree with you completely. Like that, there's a lot of good stuff here. They need to refine it. Like they need to make it more interesting somehow. But I agree. It's like as much as I'm trashing it, I don't think it's a bad game, and I don't not recommend it, but I don't recommend it either. But like if you have any inkling of getting it, you should get it.
yeah, I feel
But if
like they put this game on sale multiple times. Like I think it's like I'm sure you can find it for like $10 to $20. I think it's like
yeah, I
worth
got
around that.
it was good that when we talked about this, it was on sale because I've been meaning to get it, but I was like, I don't know if I really want it. And then you were like, we should play Bloodstained. I'm like, fuck yes. And it was on
Yeah,
sale for like $10. So
yeah.
that's
Like I
definitely
don't.
a good.
It's a game like I don't regret playing, and even like the final bosses kind of pissed me off, and I just stopped caring and all this stuff. It's like these. Some of it is like a frustration of like how good I am usually at games. Like it's like okay, I can like kind of stomach a challenge and I'm fine with it, but if it's to the point where I just don't have any motivation, I'll just stop. And a lot of these criticisms are just kind of like my own like experience with it, but there is stuff that I did generally like about it. Obviously, I mean, we talked about
Yeah,
it like for weeks, and I think like that's what's good about having a game club about like with these kind of games is because it's not. Uh, I wouldn't have. I might have just dropped it if I didn't know about the train. Like that part where it's like you have to figure out you have to go do the picture stuff, and that's like a main quest. It's like oh, if I didn't like have a game club to talk about it, it's like I would have just stopped there and said I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going. Because there are
sure.
multiple games I've just dropped because I just got lost, and I like
All
Metroid
right.
Prime was a candidate of that. Like I played that, didn't know where to go, and I was like I'm done.
Well, so then this is a perfect segue into the next
Oh,
question.
actually,
What are we playing next?
I was gonna say before that, what do you score?
I give it a
Bloodstained
three.
a
3 out of 5
3.
is perfect.
So that is a
That's what,
6 out of 10. So that's a good score
yeah.
for it. It's kind of like it aligns. The
Yeah.
next game we were talking about. So we were talking about two games. I have another game I'm thinking about. There's
Okay.
uh, we were talking about Stealth Bastard. Uh,
Hmm.
so there's that, and then we were also talking about Super Mario Sunshine initially to be the first
Hmm.
game we played. But the other game I was thinking about is Ghost Runner. Uh,
Ghost Runner.
yeah, it's
Never
a
heard of it.
first person. It's like in a cyber noir kind of like cyberpunk kind of setting. You just kind of run around. It's like it's pretty much like you're on a it's a very motion focused game. Like you're just kind of going around slicing people up with a sword. You're doing ninja kills, and there's like quick platforming with it. Um, so I was thinking of that or those other two games because Ghost Runner I've heard
Okay.
some good things about, but
I'm I'm down. So what I would like to get out of this, since we're doing this, is to play weird shit that I would never play. So that sounds like something I would never play. Ghost Runner. Okay. But I have here are the things that are at the top of my list, and tell me if any of them entice you. I've been meaning to play Beyond Good and Evil for like 12 years, just never picked it up. So I've been meaning to play that. Um, I also want to play Disgaea 5. and I'm gonna play it eventually, but I just haven't had the time to pick it up. Do you know Disgaea, the
Yeah,
series?
yeah, I know this guy.
Have you played any of them?
No, the style
Do you
kind of turned me off from
do
it.
you like tactical turn-based RPGs?
Uh, I've kind of started to warm up. Like I played Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that's kind of like a tactical game as well. So I mean, I might check it out. I've heard good things about this guy. Like,
I I played Disgaea 1 and 2, and I fucking love that game.
okay,
Like I think it's just brilliant. Like the battle system is one of the best tactical turn, and I love tactical turn-based RPGs, so that's the point. But I think it's one of the best battle systems I've played. Um,
all right.
so I'm really interested in playing 5, but and then Super Hot. I really want to play Super Hot.
Ooh, I've actually played Super Hot.
Oh, you already played it, so then
Yeah,
drop that.
I
So
do
that's
recommend it though. It's a great game. I love that game.
yeah. Okay, it's been sitting in my library too. I just haven't turned it on, but I want to play that too.
All right.
Um, okay, so the options are Stealth Bastard. Oh, another one I was thinking about because I just think it's so weird that they re-released it all of a sudden is Stubbs the Zombie.
Oh yeah. You mentioned that, and then you mentioned Self Bastard right
Yeah,
after, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay. So like, I was thinking about those two games, which was funny because after you mentioned Self Bastard, I couldn't find it on Steam for Mac because Apple
But
cucked.
I gifted it to you. You should
Yeah,
fucking
but
play it.
I it says it's for Mac. I open it and it tells me immediately like this Mac OS does not support 32-bit anymore. Like it is like ever since like it was the OS before the one I'm running right now. That one, all my games, Hollow Miami, all of these games start having like this warning sign and says these will not be supported anymore. These may not play properly, it might not work, whatever. And Hollow Miami worked. I tried, and that it was fine. It was kind of odd because the top of the screen was fucked up, but I could still. But the main game was fine. It played normally.
Mhm.
So when he gifted that to me, I was like, well, it says it's not going to support it, but it said that about Hollow Miami. I'll try it, and I tried it, and this would not open. It just refused to open. So it's like,
Have you
so
ever considered dual booting your Mac? Just
uh,
installing Windows on it, like with Boot Camp or whatever?
I was considering it, and then the more I kept looking into it, it said that it has immense delay, and there's all these other issues that kind of creep in. Because it's just bizarre. I'll try it. I mean,
Sounds like bullshit to me.
yeah, I'll check it out because I don't know if it was Neural because I think I was watching a video in the background and either he said it or someone else said it. But I mean, I'll have to try. I do want to try that just so I could because I am sure this fucking computer could run Persona 4 Golden, Killer 7. I'm sure it could run those games. It's just bullshit. The
It's an Intel Mac, right? You have
Yeah, it's an
plenty of
Intel. It's not
Intel
like
processors.
fucking. It's
Yeah,
not bullshit.
if you run Boot Camp, the only problem is you'll have to dual boot. Is it okay? How old is this thing? Can you swap out hard drives easily?
No, it's all built in.
Fuck them fucking assholes.
Because it tells you like when you run boot camp, it says, oh, you have to set up a portion of your hard
Partition.
drive for it. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like
The other option, which would be a little bit more advanced, but if it's possible, it's possible. You could maybe, because I don't know how boot devices work on Macs, but if you can boot from a different device, you could get an external and install Boot Camp on the external and
hmm.
run an OS off of the external hard drive. So if you can use an external hard drive as a boot device, you can install Windows on that and use that for your Windows machine.
All right. Oh,
I'll look into that for you. I'll see if I can figure out how you can do that.
yeah, I'll do that. Or I mean, I might just get a PC, a gamer PC at this point because
But like,
not maybe
are
not
you?
PC, but like a laptop or something because like the games I'm because I'm not like much of it. Like I don't really give a lot of shit about like some of the PC games. Like the games that we'd play for here, I'm sure it'd be like not as intensive.
But
For
that's what I was gonna say. If you're not gonna, you might be better off. You should before you buy a whole new computer. You might be better off just doing what I'm saying. If you can boot from an external drive and you install Windows on that external drive, Then you don't have to worry about partitioning your hard drive or any of that.
Okay.
And you just use that when you need to play Windows games.
All right. All right. We can be. All right.
I can't hear you anymore. I don't know what happened.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I was too far away. Okay. So we'll talk about that. But for as far as games go, I was thinking of Stealth Bastard because I did end up buying that. Just in case. I hope it's the right version because they have different naming schemes, but
I looked on Wikipedia. It's just that's just the name of the PS4 release of it. It's the
okay.
same game. It actually might have more than the PC version.
Okay, because this one was on sale for like $2. So I was like, yeah, so I already bought it just in case. I was like, yeah. And it looked it looked so weird. I was like, oh, I'll try it and we'll do that. So I'm open, so I think we should do that. And then
Wait a second. I'm looking how long to beat Stealth Bastard. It also has a sequel called Stealth Inc.
Yeah, that one I saw a lot of. I saw that like everywhere on PlayStation.
So
I think
it says that the main story takes 6 hours to beat. Maybe we should play this since it will probably take us a week, maybe 2 to beat it.
yeah, and then we can. And
Do
then I
something
think
longer next time.
yeah, and then I think the selection for the next one after that would be Ghost Runner.
Okay.
But that one, I mean, that one we'll have to look. That one might be, well, I think the length, from what I heard from a review, I think it was like, it's like 6 hours, I think, as well. So that's also a short game.
That's fine.
So
I mean, we could play that one this week too. Then if it's like, because it would be good to do a shorter game than this time. If it's like just so we like don't have to do, because like this was 5 weeks, right? 4
yeah,
weeks.
but it's kind of nice. I mean, I have no like preference with how many videos to make or like how long. Like it's, because I think it's a little bit more interesting, but it can go either way.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just do Stealth Bastard because we both already have it.
Yeah, and then see, now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. If you made it this far in the video, which is only an hour long, this is the payoff. This is the payoff. This is the big payoff to the whole video. And now we're gonna be watching all the videos in the future from start to finish. We will do a giveaway. By next week, we'll announce the winner, and you'll get a copy of Stealth Bastard as well by next week. Now, oh my god, I'm like spacing on half the stuff I want to say. If you win, you just tell us what version of the game you want, Steam or PS4. I don't know if it's on any other console, but if you want Steam, whatever, let us know, and we will gift you the money, or just buy the game directly, whichever one is more convenient to any of us. Who knows? And that's what's gonna happen. So, in order for you to enter, comment below. Gotta be something vague, because it can't just be something easy.
Solidus did nothing wrong.
Yes. Type in hashtag Solidus did nothing wrong. And then we'll just go from there. You have until next week to enter from the point of this uploaded. So this will upload by Monday. So next Monday, the following Monday.
Here's the question, Theo. For us, do we start playing the game, or do we do an impressions video for Stealth Bastard?
I think we'll do an impressions video. The impression video will do the we'll announce the winner.
We have this week off from Game Club.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good because I just bought. Another great thing about PC games is there's a website called GOG, which is called Good Old Games. They just have just random old games. And the entire, like, they had all the Metal Gear Solid games. And I bought, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. And I just bought 1 and 2, and I wanted to play through them this week. So.
Oh, that's good.
I might play those.
It
ties into Stealth Bastard because Stealth Bastard has a tagline that I don't remember what it is, but it's a parody of Metal Gear.
Okay. It's funny because the news from last month was that Sony was gonna close the PlayStation Store for the PS3, PSP, and Vita. Like they're just gonna close that store off.
Right. Yes.
So I just was
Oh, fuck. That means I gotta install all the games I have.
yeah. Well, I think they said that you could still download the games you own. If you own a game, like if you own like a PS3 game, you can still download it. It's just you won't be able to buy new games on that store. So from that, I was like, oh shit, I gotta get some stuff before it's gone. So I ended up buying a lot of old ass fucking Shin Megami Tensei games.
Oh my.
I got like Nocturne before the remaster. So because like fucking Atlas has this dumb policy now where it's like, oh, if you spoil fucking Nocturne when the remaster comes out, we're gonna fucking strike your ass. It's like, okay, I'll just play the PS2 game then. Like, so in case I want to stream it, I'll just like pop in. I'll just say I'm playing the PS3 version.
So you're telling me these games only exist on PS3? Like they don't have them in the PS4 store too?
No, because these are like old PS1 and PS2 games, and
but you can play PS1 games on a PS4, no?
No, I think you have to like rebuy them. Like they've sold some PS2 games, but no one like literally like Atlas has not been re-releasing any of these games after the fact. Like half these games they just don't really care for. Like Atlas is one of the worst companies when it comes to this because even like Persona 4 Golden was on the Vita for years and years and years, and everyone was like, put Golden on like on Steam, PlayStation 4, put it everywhere. Why is Atlas not doing any of this? And Atlas just
companies are real pieces of shit.
Yeah, like they just sit on money. It's like they just leave money on the table. It's like, oh, okay, like and then they release on Steam, and then that's it. It's like you can't put this on any other platform. Like no one else can run Persona 4 Golden. Like it's all bullshit.
Fuck it.
But I just bought all these old games because I just want. The one thing I love about going back to old games is just experiencing like the old difficulty. Like a lot of people kept saying how Persona 5 and Persona is like an easier version of SMT, and it's like, oh, really? So I'm like really excited to see how hard SMT actually is.
Ass kicked.
Yeah, like because everyone was like, because they've told us about the answer. That portion of Persona 3 is like, oh yeah, you're gonna fucking quit that version. That's gonna suck ass. I beat it. And it's like, yeah, it's. I had more fun with that than Persona 4.
See, Theo, maybe you just need to be challenged.
Yeah, that's maybe. I need to be like.
You don't like bloodstained.
But I think like a lot of people like overhyped Persona 3 as well, like saying, "Oh, this game's hard as fuck, man," and it's like, yeah, it's whatever. But people kept telling me SMT3 is gonna be a game I might rage quit because they're like, "Oh, I can't wait until you fight the Matador." And in SMT3, it's like, oh, what's this? What's the gimmick? And the only thing I have to go off by is they're saying like that baby boss in Persona 4. That's like the basics of SMT. It's like, oh no.
Nice.
But I mean, I'll have to see. But I do like seeing that.
Happy Easter! This is a big day for Cleo, huh?
Well, actually, Greeks celebrate is gonna be the Greek Easter is in May. Okay, this is like the pleb Easter. This is like okay, the plebs can celebrate it. I mean,
why is it like that?
I don't know. Like, I think the Greeks just always like rotate. Depends on the year. I don't fucking know. Like I literally do not give a shit about like half the religion that's going on. I'm not like a religious person, and Easter is like the most. I think it's the boring holiday. Who really cares about Easter? I mean, it's hey, if you want to hang out with your family, that's cool and fine. But it's just Christmas at least has like a little bit more going on. It's like I don't know. My family mostly focused on like Christmas. Easter, the only thing we did was we played this like egg game where you kind of like take two eggs and you like smash the top and bottom against each other, and. And whichever one cracks is the loser. So if one's solid, you win, and you get to. It is the weirdest game, but that's like the only thing we did for Easter was that, and then we did go to church for Easter, but then we stopped going to church after a few years. The weirdest thing that I remember in my childhood was Warner Brothers. Me and my brother would watch Kids WB all the time. To watch the new Pokemon episode or whatever. We would watch, and then all of a sudden during the runtime, it would just switch to this fucking celebration of the Eucharist. And
I remember that too.
oh my god, I thought it was just us.
It was like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
It was a celebration of the Eucharist. I was just watching Static Shock. What the fuck is this?
It pissed us off so fucking much, and the whole time we were sitting there like thinking, maybe it's gonna end. Maybe it's like a 10-minute thing, and it would just go on and on. It was torture.
It's very jarring too.
Yeah, and I thought it was just us. I was like, I sat there thinking that maybe our dad bought this like block of like this some deal from a cable company, like, hey, you can have this at a cheap price, but you're gonna have like religious programming at this time. And he's like, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll sign up for it. It's like, oh god, but no, it's everyone. Who the fuck? Who does this? Like,
I don't know.
And it's like, because obviously the studio didn't care. It's like, oh yeah, it's this time. And it's like, okay, so this is something that's beyond this fucking network's decision.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird. But
alright, so first impressions video on Stealth Bastard next week, right? And
yeah.
then we'll play it.
Yeah, we'll play it after that. And then we'll announce the winner as well, so you have a reason to tune in.
Yeah.
So
just remember, Solidus was a good guy.
Solidus did nothing wrong.
Right, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just cluing them on what they need to write.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down just in case, but it has to have the hashtag.
Do you remember?
Huh?
So
yeah,
you remember?
yeah. So I remember. I mean, I forget a lot of stuff. It's crazy.
I'm gonna laugh if someone actually does it. I don't think anyone's gonna do it, but we'll see.
Yeah. They're gonna be like, well, why would I want Stealth Bastard? Why would I want that game? Ugh.
Why not? It seems cool. I actually have no idea anything about it.
I didn't see any screenshots of it. I just saw the cover, and the only thing I thought of was like, oh, I almost thought it was kind of like this will be the tease. I thought it would be like a stupid one of these stupid kind of like cash grab kind of games, like, oh, this is shovelware, just buy it, and all this stuff. But the Steam reviews were like really good too. It's like, oh, like there is at least enough people liking it.
I remember seeing it years back, and it just popped up in my queue, and it was like, it was on sale for $1 for me. So I was like, I'm gonna buy me a copy, and I'll buy Theo a copy too, just in case.
Okay.
So that's why I sent it to you. But like, I've wanted to play it. It just came up, and I was like, oh, I'll buy that. Because it came out in like 2012.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. That's definitely a game that would not be on my radar. So I mean, this is gonna be like the first time I'm playing a game that's I never even heard of. Like,
perfect, great.
So
all right, I think we should call it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the best runtime too. It's not like the Snyder cut.
I think we should cut it down for the people, definitely.
Yeah, 2 hours was ridiculous. We had a lot to say. I mean,
well, I mean, if we're just talking, like,
yeah, it's great. I mean, no one complained. I mean, maybe if I'm petty, I'm like, oh, the views went from like 50 to 20. It's like, but fuck it, all my videos get 20 views. That's good enough for me. I'm happy. I'm happy with everything. It's funny. I go to my analytics and it's like the weirdest analytics I've ever seen. Like I've looked at because you talked about it like a few weeks ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should look at them. And it's like a madman is like running YouTube. It's like the DSP videos obviously get a lot of views. It's like, okay, it's drama shit, whatever. But it's like everything else is like, all right, you have like this. It's like sporadic. Like some people like stick around throughout all these videos. They jump around, but it's like it's not like there's no pattern with anything. all these watch times, all this stuff. There's no like It's like, oh, do people like the 20-minute videos? Do people like this long of a video? It's like there's no logic almost. It's just kind of like people just watch what they watch. And it's like, yeah, that's fine with me. But it does make me happy that the gameplay streams I do that I put up, those have been kind of growing. Before it was like 5% people are watching them, and now it's like 12%. It's like oh shit, like It's getting good. I'm like loving it too because like that's kind of like what's motivating me to play like Persona 4 and playing all these other SMT games now. It's like, oh, it's like an adventure going through these games, and the rage is have the fun, but these videos are also fun to do as well. So I'm glad, and I've been watching these videos. Good on you. So I think that's a good place to end. It ends on a hopeful, positive note. At least I think it's positive. I mean, I wasn't sitting there belly aching, so that's good. I've seen a lot of YouTube. This one YouTuber I used to like watching, and I stopped watching because every time he's like, "All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the videos." I mean, I was really scared that like no one's gonna be watching, and then like it's like okay, like enough. But,
yeah, stop complaining.
Yeah, so it's always
all right.
posy.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.